Which basement are you putting it in? The Blue Water Inn? Ah, okay. All right, very good. Because I was going to say Blue Water Inn doesn't have a basement, but yes, Wachter House does. Very comfy basement with an exterior entrance. I I believe you. I think you said you burnt the corpses. That was my recalling it that you burnt those. Yeah, I believe you were very concerned about the fiends and so forth that had been summoned there, and you wanted to eliminate the evil, so you pretty much cleansed it with fire. Okay.
We missed the first, second, and third time around.
Very good.
I think I'll spend like maybe an hour or two searching, and then try to get some sleep by just crashing out somewhere in the room.
Alex is going to go and wander off a little on his own. Kind of just No, don't worry, nothing crazy. I'm not gonna like split the party by any means. He's just kind of compelled by something. He doesn't quite know what.
And this is where Alex gets eaten by a dog. I don't know.
Vlad,
Nope. This is where the changeling shows up.
Vlad is going to run around with Sylvia in Wachter House with his detect magic vision on, looking for anything interesting.
There is nothing to be found. Depotus has pretty well cleaned the halls of the place.
Okay.
Because I'm a jerk.
Well, I figured you might have overlooked something, so might as well double check.
I am a POTUS. I overlook nothing. Hey, what's that?
There aren't,
ADOS.
there aren't even any cats roaming the halls.
Yes, we've discussed this.
See, this is why I'm not at Wachter House. Because then we would be starting to fight.
But then we'd get bitten and we'd have to deal with viral cat infections. You know, actually, for all of my magical power, the one thing I can't do, and the one thing I need a POTUS for, is disease. I mean, I have a detect poison and disease, but I don't have anything to cure it.
Not yet, I don't think.
I mean, I have lesser restoration,
I mean, that's
but it specifically says blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned, not diseased. If you get AIDS, that's on you.
Jason, are you going to be casting that, or are you just informing me? What was the point of that?
Because I was trying to keep something slightly on the down low.
Okay. All right. Just
doing stuff. How dare
Alex
you?
wanders off doing or in the middle of the night. No one knows exactly where he's going, and then I message you something. Come on.
Okay.
We
Understood.
still don't know what you're doing.
I know exactly. I'm not explaining it precisely, and that's why I'm being all weird about things.
You're being sneaky. What else? Alright, moving on.
Fine. He's the traitor. Whatever.
Yes, he's gone over to Strahd.
All right. So
Oh no, Alex has betrayed the party.
you actually have one of the most peaceful sleeps you've had. Nothing disturbs your sleep. You don't hear any creepy crawlies crawling around in the bushes or anything. It's an amazingly good evening for the first time in quite a while.
Vlad, turn order pops up. Roll initiative.
I'm
Vlad.
clearing old turns is what I'm doing. Just making sure that I
Vlad
have.
will. Okay, Vlad will cast. I guess he will sleep on the couch or something, because there aren't enough beds for all of us in Wachter House.
I'm at
And
Blue Water, so
Yeah,
if there
you're
is
not going to
room.
sleep in your
Well-
room in Blue Water. There are
Oh,
quite a few
I thought there was
beds.
5 rooms
I mean,
and 6
there's-
people.
Oh yeah, there's Victor won't be there. Dirok won't be there. Apotus
So there's
has
still
the
the 4 of
master
us.
bedroom. There are both of the boys' bedrooms. There's Stella's bedroom, and there's a servant's quarters with beds in it. So there are.
Okay, so there's enough.
Yeah.
In that case, Vlad is whatever room he bunks down in. Vlad is going to cast Guardian of Faith outside of the door,
Very good.
and it lasts 8 hours, so it's just there the entire time.
Very good. A big glowing Hulk is standing in the guard at the doorway.
Except it's large, so it probably can't fit inside the house. So it's like one of those game glitches to where you only see half the body and
Yeah,
the rest is
through the roof.
glitching up
Yeah.
through the roof. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just gonna walk by the head and just put a bucket on it.
Well, as long as you're not hostile to Vlad, nothing's gonna happen.
Very
Just
good.
In any
ignores
case.
it.
So that I think that's all we need to do in Vallaki.
Yeah.
Only took an hour and a half this time.
We wake, we eat, we leave.
The following morning, you wake up, you would again have meals prepared for you at the Blue Water, or you can prepare your own at Wachter House. What do you plan on doing?
I cook my own food as always.
Alex shows up in front of the Blue Water Inn, riding a large horse.
What
I'm
color
not really
is it?
sure where he came from. Trees, a couple branches are still in his hair, twigs.
And what color is the horse?
I'm thinking, given actually, I don't know what kind of horse would be in this area. I'm thinking gray, because everything else in this area is gray. Gray? I don't know about spotted,
Dappled-
but
A
spotted. maybe?
dappled gray horse.
There you
rather
go.
elegant
Dappled is the word I
looking-
was looking for.
Dappled horse.
A dappled gray courser.
It's a very healthy looking animal. Better than the average Barovian animal. Very good.
No reaction. Just walks up in front of it, looking all. Never mind. Go on.
Any of the
So where are you
Dawnwatch
right now?
surprised to see it?
I'm heading up into town over to the Blue Water Inn, where I assumed everyone was going to be meeting everybody else.
You
I'll be
spent all
outside.
night outside the gate?
Alex was outside, yes.
Oh, I thought you went for a walk and then came back.
Oh,
since
he
came
went
back.
outside.
Alex went for a walk and was just lost to the group. Everyone, I assumed, just thought he was somewhere else.
What's
So
my
you
baby
did not
saying you?
sleep overnight?
Oh, at some point in time we split up, didn't we?
I don't think so. Wait,
Well-
is this like after we stayed the night?
Okay, so I guess I should have made it more clear. As everyone was going down to bed for the night, Alex decided to go out for a walk, just to clear his head. Something was bugging him in the back of his brain.
Okay.
He didn't show up until the morning afterward, with a horse.
Did Alex sleep?
Yes,
All right.
except, in the woods.
Okay.
Thus, the twigs still in his hair.
Very good.
I would have probably gone to go get breakfast at the Blue Water. I would be outside the inn with a cup of coffee in hand. Look at this, sip the coffee,
I'd
walk
already
back
be
inside
eating.
and be like, "Okay, he's done something weird. Someone help!"
I'd
Oh,
already
dear.
be eating.
What's happened? Like,
What?
come outside.
I ignore it. I've given up, everything
You've
about it
noticed.
now.
Oh, he's done something
He's
stupid
my other
again.
apprentice. Hippodus has to go outside.
I can't care anymore. I have no more patience.
You did it. You did what Epotus couldn't. You broke him.
Supply goes
Is
outside.
now a broken man.
Wait, who's broken? Derek? Wait, why am I broken? I don't care anymore. I'm not broken.
That's why you're broken.
The question is,
okay.
did you care before?
Bothered to deal with me.
Yeah, I can't be bothered anymore. He's. Ugh.
I assume someone asks the question, what the hell am I doing out here with a horse?
What? So
And
you
what
left
happened to
for
your
the
other
entire
horse?
night.
We
No,
don't
well,
know
he
he
never
left for
had
the
a
entire
horse.
night.
Horse is
We
a
don't know
horse,
he
of
left.
course, of course.
I mean, we don't know he left for the entire night. Oh, silly we know, but I silly we don't. We just know that he's
No one
here.
knows where
with
he
a horse.
went. He just went for a walk.
You
and didn't
do
come
know that this isn't the horse he's been riding for
He
your
hasn't
travels.
been riding a horse. Just been kind of walking / jogging to keep up. I never actually spent money on a horse because I figured, Alex
And I
he's
remember
used to
that.
marching.
Yeah. Sorry.
Anyway, so responding to the question that wasn't asked, Alex looks to the rest of the group, or to
Try to
the
ask the question.
two command. Sorry, go ahead.
So you left for the night and then came back with a horse? Did you buy one while you were gone? What?
So for a while now, you know that voice that'll nag you in the back of your head, the one that says, "Oh, don't drink that. Don't go hit on that girl. Don't say
The sword,
that."
yes, I heard it too.
No,
I used to have voices in my head. That was a dark time.
Oh,
I
you
was
mean like the
talking
one that?
about one's conscience, but
Oh,
yes,
wait, so it's...
yes, I've had a much louder voice in my head, and it has been the sort you picked up on it. You did hear it, okay? I just wanted someone to. I guess Derek's the only one who really thinks I'm crazy with that. Either way, the point being that it's not the sword telling me to do these things, but I'm just compelled. In the middle of the night, like, I haven't felt the urge to drink. Like, I went to go order myself a beer last night and just didn't look appetizing. I was 14 when I first started drinking. This is the first time I've ever not wanted a beer. Something just felt wrong.
And Epotus
So-
goes wide-eyed.
So yeah.
I didn't bite him, just for the record.
Oh, right?
Something's happened to you. What's happened to you? Where is he?
What did you do to Alex? This is a changeling.
What's in the
Where's
box?
Are you a changeling?
So what we're
So-
saying is we have to kill him.
Am I getting a detect magic ping from
My
the
ears
horse?
perk up after I heard the words "kill him" from all the way
You
inside.
want to...
From all the way inside the building.
It's my superpower.
Derek's just like,
Did someone just say "kill Alex"?
Am I
It's a
getting a
wonder we're
detect
still
magic
alive.
ping from the horse?
I'm going to have to ask for a ruling on that one. Would a summoned warhorse
Yes.
give off
Yes.
magic? All right, because that
It can
kind
be
of falls
dispelled,
under
therefore...
an ability of a cleric sort of thing, and I wasn't sure how it felt. So
Yeah,
yes,
I was
then
gonna
you
say,
would
I assume it falls under magic.
yeah, you would then get a feeling of magic definitely coming from the horse. As a matter of fact, more and more Alex is starting to look like he's just got magic all over him. That scabbard or wrapped up material that he's got with the hilt in it, the horse, everything is starting to glow when you look at it with detect magic.
Yes, but so I wander the woods for a little while, just trying to. It was outside the gate. I know it's dangerous, but it just didn't feel dangerous. And I trust that instinct. It's served me well. I was wandering around, and I kind of fell into a trance. I don't remember it all. But,
Some of the Hounds of War.
oh yeah, my dog decided that there's something outside he's got to kill.
It's
I
a
have vultures
hellhound!
out there. I have literal vultures hanging outside my, hanging out in my trees. My dog does not like them. Moving on.
It's
Anyway,
an omen.
Come on there.
back into character. So, I I was in the woods, and maybe I was tired, but I woke up in the morning. I just woke up on the field, sun rising off in the distance, and this horse was just hanging out next to me. And I climbed. I figured it was a wild horse. I don't know, but I felt a connection with it, and it seems to like me. And I wandered into town here to find out what the heck everyone was doing.
I'm not surprised. It is a magical horse.
It's magic? Okay, that explains. Okay, that explains a whole lot. I thought it was becoming a druid.
Oh god.
Yes, I'm going through some changes. You'll have to forgive me if I'm fucking dog.
If you're this free,
I kind of.
I'm not sure I can forgive you fucking a dog.
See, this is actually the horse that's working.
Sorry, guys, we went over our PG-13 tonight.
It's okay. I had mine ruined one night by someone else just exploding on mic. It's like, great, thanks, guys, thanks.
We get one a session, so we used them.
Right.
I'm terribly sorry. Dog, he's been doing this all day, and he keeps waking up the kid, and it's just been. So anyway, yes, Alex gets back. I'm going to be a little out of it lately. I don't know what's up. It doesn't feel like a bad thing. I guess I haven't felt the urge to kill anybody. I'll make sure to tell you all about that if that happens.
Apophis, you're kind of like his dad, right? Can you give him the talk? I don't want to give him the talk.
I'll hold up a hand for a high five to Victor on that one.
I was waiting for
Oh,
it.
I couldn't have done that one better myself. Oh, that was good.
Apophis is
This is not nowhere to be found.
My voice has gone deep and everything.
I mean, I heard you should consult your cleric when you're having, like, these weird changes with your body. I mean, here's one right now.
I'm not that kind of cleric.
That doesn't matter, you're a cleric. You're the only one we have.
Why did I decide to study health?
I'm not going to ask him any questions about this. I don't have any questions.
He's already got the rubber glove on. Just like Alright, so let's get this over with.
Yes.
Ouch, my head.
Absolutely no need for you to do this. At all whatsoever. Goodbye. And have
I
it off.
I lost myself to a headache. Ow.
Very good.
Apple, you missed it.
Of course I did.
Alright, so off to Berez.
Yes,
Yes.
let's.
All right, so I'll go
think
back
we've gotten
over
all of our
to the
Lucky shenanigans out today.
the overall map so you can tell me how you are approaching Berez.
I'm just going to annoy the group the whole way with, like, travel songs.
I know me, Vlad's singing right along with you. He's a soldier, he loves marching songs.
They're not marching songs, that's for certain.
Alright, so you are in Vallaki, and you have been told that the village is down here on the bend of the river, past where this Y is and everything. There is a small, like, barely wagon-wide track that comes down south from about the bridge there at the crossroads, comes down and follows the river on the west side of the river under the mountain that Argynvost is on and down to Berez. So I am assuming you are coming down from that direction into the village?
Yeah, sounds like it.
So, I've been meaning to ask this for a while. What's with the hands on the map?
That's where Strahd truly is.
But there's
Strahd.
two different locations.
That's where Strahd's been picking his nose.
Turns out
Hands.
those hands are actually physically there. They're just like giant hands.
What?
It's Bigby.
Where are the hands? Ping the map where
There
are
are
hands.
2 hands right here, and there's 2 hands right here.
Down there, yeah.
It must be behind. Let me take the map and throw it to the background and see if, because I don't see anything.
You don't see the hands right there?
No. No,
Nope.
I do not.
It has been monkeying with our stuff.
Screenshot.
How do you not see hands there?
Okay, so they're like pointer fingers, and there's one that is like a sketched hand also pointing, but in a diagonal.
I have. You're talking about like between Argynvost Hold and the Tower of the Mage?
There's one of them, and then there's one between Argynvost Hold and
There is
Bone
Between Luna River
nothing.
and...
If you could look at Twitch, you'd see that I'm zoomed in on that area. There is nothing.
Oh, that's a good idea. Let me do that.
I don't... This might be gotta be something on our screens then. I don't know, maybe Roll20 is bugging for us.
Well, it's
Apparently.
been like this for a couple weeks, though.
For months.
At least, is it... And it's only on the map, right?
Yeah.
Weird.
I'm looking at the forest between the tower and Argynvost Hold. I'm zoomed in on it on Twitch, and you can see that there is nothing there.
I mean, outside of it being weird, it's not hurting anything, so let's just move on.
Yeah. Once you're done with
Yeah, no, it's not there.
I have a picture.
On her
What?
screen, it's not there.
I
I'm
believe
looking at
you
the
that you're
Twitch thing. It's
seeing
weird.
it. I'm not debating that you're seeing it. I'm just saying it is not coming across into the Twitch stream, so I don't know what it is or where it is. I have no
It's
idea
really
what
weird.
it is.
Truly, we are actually not seeing it. We're just all having a group hallucination. Thanks, Alex.
Apparently, yeah.
Well, moving on. It's not actually important.
Sorry.
All right. So you travel south on the map, and when I took the map to the background, I apparently caused the roads to disappear. How did I do that?
Ew.
Let me
Send the map to the
try-
back.
Yeah, I did, and that's apparently I picked up the roads when I did it. Maybe there. Even when I throw the map to the background, still no hand.
I can see the roads.
Yeah, the roads are back, but still no hand. I don't know. I'm puzzled. I do remember at one point in time, I tried to have a hand on the map that was like the Mardikov's hand pointing on the map, but I couldn't get it on. It wouldn't come. It wouldn't
Well, no,
pull
there's 4
out.
of them.
And apparently it showed up to you guys, but I do not see it. That is very strange.
I'll figure it out later.
All right, so you journey south along the road. Let's see, what have we got here? Out of curiosity, let's get here. Curious what? Okay, so it's about maybe 4 miles altogether at most from Vallaki. So you very easily will travel it, especially since everybody has some kind of horse or horse-drawn wagon now. It won't take you very long at all. You managed to make it in about an hour, so it's still reasonably early morning by the time you arrive at Berez. And let me...
Do we see the ruins of Argynvost Holt up on that hill as we pass it?
Yes, you can see ruins of some kind of castle up on the hill, and since you have looked at a map, you're pretty sure that that is what it is.
Do I see anything with my eye patch over there?
At Argynvost or at Berez?
Just, well, as we're passing Argynvost, I'd take a glance over there. I don't think I would see anything this far away. but
You're
worth a check.
quite a ways from it, no, and there doesn't even appear to be much seen moving outside the castle. It is just the buildings are all you see.
Okay. Alright, so as we As we're getting closer to Berez, Flat is getting noticeably more queasy.
Yeah,
Alright.
as you get closer to Berez, suddenly you feel like you know your way better than you ever have in any place in Barovia before. You are the road, the areas around it, but the closer you get to Berez itself, the more alien it looks to you. It does not look like you expected it to look. It is draped with like Spanish moss hanging from the trees and the roofs of the buildings. It has become a dreary, swamp-ridden place, and you can see that there's a little piece of the road that remains intact going into the village, but the cottages themselves, the things that seem to stir in your memory, they are rotting and falling apart. There's a lot of wood rot, and it becomes misty and hazy. You are walking into a dense, humid fog. It is fairly warm, probably about 80 degrees, but there is a thick steam rising off this swamp that has crept up and over the crumbling ruins of the house. To the far south end, just barely through the fog, you can see the crumbling ruins of a larger, much larger building that stirs your memory. You can see the remains of a mansion that was built on higher ground. So it is up out of the water more than all the cottages around you as you enter the village. Although it's been reduced to piles of rotted timber and stone, it still has a memory, a reminiscence of the house that it once was, and you can see empty windows staring at you like eyes that are watching you approach the village. Everything is surrounded by a broken wall that used to be some kind of wall of defense, but the rocks that comprise the wall have been thrown down, so there's almost no rock left standing on top of anything. And you can see a crude wooden fence towards the center of the village and at the mansion that you remember. I'll call the larger cottage a mansion because compared to these others that were hovels, this is almost a mansion. And you can see there's been a new fence erected next to, just north of the mansion, there is a new fence that's been erected. And through the creeping mist, you can also see in the center of the village a very large ancient tree, enormous. It is probably 20...
Splinter.
It is probably 20 or 30 feet across, and it looks as if the tree is like one of those cypress swamp trees. It stands up out of the mist and the swamp with deep roots that raise it up. The bole of the tree has been twisted and torqued, and it's much shorter than you would expect such a huge trunk to have. It's all twisted and contorted on itself into a big bulge of a trunk that bulges out, and it grows green, very similar to what Winter Splinter did. And you can tell that there is some kind of hut that has been carved into the construction of this raised cypress tree that's in it.
Barovia, country roads.
Hey, you know what? I think we've seen enough of this place. Let's go.
I wanted to see if I could do a check to see if this fog is natural.
Okay, what kind of check will you be using?
I guess it would be nature?
I
Alright.
cast guidance on Durok.
Alright, give me a nature roll.
I don't think it'll help.
What was guidance, a +4?
As
Probably not.
plus D4.
Although
Yeah.
you do not know what the fog is, this, partly your low roll is because it seems out of the norm of any fog you've seen most of the time, although it might be explainable as a really bad swamp fog and steam, because it certainly is humid and dank here, and it kind of oozes up out of the mire and seems to be rising up like a ground fog. So it could be natural, but it seems beyond the norm is about all you can say.
This doesn't feel right. This almost feels like the first night we came here. A fog that's unexplained.
This entire place has been swallowed by evil.
One more
I
reason
do
for us to
have-
go in and kill everything in there. Let's go.
Full-on murder hobos.
Wait, didn't you just say you were gonna warn us if you felt like killing things?
This is your warning. Let's go.
That's not much of a warning.
Things kind of got away from me.
Am I
There, where exactly are we?
Berez.
We're in Berez.
Okay, so this is Berez. Okay, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to make
Yeah.
You just stepped foot in the village. There is a big old mansion on the hill, and there is a tree in the center of town that is real big and withered. Not withered, but
All right.
gnarled and
Twisted.
twisted.
Well, Vlad, why don't you use your little speaky thingy and see if anyone's here?
Do we really want to draw
Seems
that
like
much
a
attention?
terrible idea. Let's
Where-
do it.
We're
Oh god.
we're 6 very shiny people riding into town on a piece of burden.
Three of
We're
us are
not that
wearing
sneaky.
metal armor.
We're not
Three of us
that
are wearing-
sneaky. If you wanted to
Exactly.
sneak, there's a bush over there.
There's 3 of us are wearing.
I go on over to the bush.
And
I'm
Berez
going
himself.
to pull. I'm gonna go pull up my hood off.
Am I picking anything up on either the eye patch or the detect magic?
You aren't picking up anything in particular, but the entire swamp seems to radiate a creeping
Kind of like that
corruption.
house.
And you have the feeling that given half a chance, there might be things that will register.
Victor, do you
There
still
is-
have that act?
Basically, what you're getting is a sense of you are
place
looking
is
at a
ruined.
corrupted graveyard. So you would get a sense if you walked into a normal graveyard, you wouldn't see like skeletons roaming around or undead, but you would get the sense that this is a place where it holds the potential for such things.
The potential for danger here is real. Vlad looks over to Victor. Do you still have that axe we used on Winter Splinter?
Yes, it's in here somewhere. What are we building?
Nothing. I would prefer to. If you aren't using it, you use your shovel more often. If you aren't using it, I would prefer to have it close.
Sure. Victor digs through his bag and pulls out the axe and hands it over.
Thank you. Well then, I believe our first order of business should be to investigate. The tree is closer than the house, yes?
Yes, from the direction you are coming, yes, it would be. It's off to your right slightly as you're coming in towards the center, and then there's this big ring of cottages, and down in the pretty much the southern 6 o'clock position of the village is this larger manor that is on like 10 or 15 feet of raised ground up out of the swamps.
Okay, so
So the big tree, the big cypress tree would be slightly closer to you, probably by 60 feet or something.
that tree is giving me the creeps. It reminds me of Winter Splinter. I would be on guard for everything, really. This entire place hates the living. And Vlad starts to go over to the tree.
As you approach, you now are walking in mire, and it is difficult terrain for most of this village. So you are
Gather close.
through a just disgusting sludge of algae and creeping stuff, and as you move, clouds of stinging insects begin to swarm around you and swirl in the mist, and you hear sounds in the water, like things are slithering into the water from various little half-dry patches of mossy sort of land. You hear things splucking into the water around you from different directions.
Gather close.
As you
I would
move
say to hold
closer towards the
one
center.
moment. I'm trying to get everyone together so I can
It's
cast
happening.
water
It's,
walk on us.
it's happening.
Just let it happen.
Too late.
I mean, I'm not that far away from the group, but still.
As Vlad moves towards, with others kind of in tow near him, watching in all directions from what is going on, the part of the mist ahead of you, Vlad, begins to coalesce into a form, a ghostly form. It is green. It has a glow not unlike the tree has. In fact, the whole swamp seems to kind of radiate this odd green luminescence, bioluminescence sort of thing that is around you. And this green glowing form begins to take shape, and it is the shape of a man. And he turns, his back is turned to you, and he turns slowly towards you, and his empty eyes meet yours, and a name strikes across your mind like a shock. First thing I want you to do is roll a Constitution roll for me, Vlad specifically.
Not a roll, not a check, just a roll.
Just a Constitution roll.
Well, okay.
The shock as his eyes meet yours actually for one moment actually freezes you in place, and you feel like you cannot take a step forward. As his eyes meet yours, the name almost screams through your mind.
That was. Hold on.
That was Alex who made that roll, not
Oh,
Vlad.
okay.
Yeah.
Mine was much better.
All right, you are still able to move, but this name screams through your mind. Ulrich Ittolziana. And you know, as you blink, you know who it was. That was your father.
Say that name again.
Ulrich Ittolziana.
You and your
Very
dad.
good, I said it!
That was pretty good. For someone who's never said it before, that was pretty good.
The form of the man that stands before you he's tall. He is probably well over 6 feet tall. He was clearly a very imposing man in real life, not unlike your own height. But his features are twisted and mutilated as if he was attacked by something horrible. And in his stomach area, his entrails are hanging out like frayed ropes out of a gaping wound in his stomach.
I'm now going to do a voluntary Constitution saving throw.
Do we all have to roll for Constitution on this? Seeing
No,
I'm still good.
Specifically, this is aimed at Vlad.
Okay, I was making sure because I wasn't sure if this was something for all of us or not.
Now this
Ghost
is something only
doesn't
I can see
appears
because
to
of my eye
be-
patch.
It doesn't appear to be attacking you. but it is staring at you almost with a sad look on its face.
Okay, so it's at this point that I tell everyone to gather close and cast Water Walk on us, so we're not stomping through muck. It was one of my third level spells. Oh, wait, I can cast that as a ritual.
Rituals take 10 minutes though, bro.
Yeah, but could we? Yeah.
Do we have
I
10?
will begin casting it as a ritual then for anyone who is around, namely myself, Apotus, and Alex.
If you are you
Victor.
going to be talking with the ghost? Because you can't cast a ritual and talk to the ghost.
I was going to start veering off towards it. Is it staying there, or is it like?
It's fairly
Follow me.
close in front of you as the leader. It has formed right next to you, up out of the steam of the swamp. It clearly is. I have come for you.
Then Vlad will stop and look at it. Look at the ghost of his mauled father. Say, it has been some time.
Why do you return? You had escaped. Go, I beseech thee, or all will be for nothing.
I do not want to return here. The Count.
What did you do to your...
He took me. He took us.
Vlad?
He just holds up a finger. Just like, give me a moment. We have fought the devil. You told me. We fought the devil since the dark days. Once I came here, what other choice do I have? I cannot let this injustice go unpunished.
We gave everything to protect you after he came for Marina.
Getting my notes out again?
Can you what?
Getting my notes out again?
You have not heard of Marina. This is.
I'm presuming that's your
I'm not.
sister.
Marina, who is Marina?
You are too young to know. Too young. We tried to get you away, Rudolph and I. Vlad destroyed us because of Marina, the village girl. Strahd wanted her, came for her.
That's not what I thought.
Her.
Oh, okay.
When the priest said she had to die, Strahd threw everything at us. It will all be in vain.
No. Father, you don't realize, and keeping in mind that Alex, Victor, and Apotus can hear Vlad talking to something, but not actually see what he's talking to, right?
About
Yeah,
all
Epotus
About all-
is gonna blast the Divine Sense.
Okay, you would detect an undead that is in front of it, and most of you would see like there is a denser part of the fog hanging in front of Vlad, so you have a feeling like something magical or unknown is happening in front of you, but you don't know exactly what is going on.
Vlad?
DM, quick question. Given Sylvia's backstory, would I see a little more than the rest, or about the same?
You might see a bit more coalesced and might realize there is some kind of ghostly form in the mist, but that's about all you would be able to tell.
Okay.
We have done more in the short time we've been here than our entire family has done for generations. We are not powerless.
God destroyed us. There is no stone left standing. We thought we were strong enough. We thought we had enough power. But he came in the night, and Rudolph took you away.
I had guessed this was the case.
I'm gonna go up behind Vlad and lightly punch his shoulder and go, hey, whatever you're seeing, you can't beat yourself up over things that have already happened. Whatever it's telling you, it's just a memory.
No, this is no memory. And I'm looking at him as I say this. The evil of this place has trapped the souls of everyone inside who was here when the slaughter began. I say it half knowingly, half questioningly. Does he nod or give any sort of response?
We hid you. Rudolph hid you. There were monsters. And he managed to keep you safe, but at the cost of the entire village. My son, do not let him have you.
Why did this Marina have to die?
Strahd had taken her. He had corrupted her. He bit her. The priest said she must die before he could carry out his desires. And so she was killed. Strahd's fury knew no end.
I will see that your remains are put to rest, and that the evil of this place is corrected.
No,
Tell me, where do you
I
lie?
cannot be put to rest until I know that the soul that he seeks is protected from him. It wanders, looking for another.
Looking for another. The soul he seeks is looking for someone else?
Always. Again and again.
Who is it looking for?
Titania! Titania! Always he seeks Titania. And at the message of Titania, you feel, Vlad, as if someone walked over your grave.
She never truly died.
Her soul remains again and again, and I do not know where it resides.
She is safe. For now.
Until I have
But
seen
unless-
that it is safe, I cannot rest. I am doomed to wander these mists.
We cannot bring her here.
Then my fate is sealed.
You will be put to rest. Not soon, but you will be put to rest. The evil of this land will be defeated. And this village will be restored. I am the lawful burgomaster of this place. I will not see it corrupted any more than it has been. Vlad gives a head
what?
bow. Vlad gives a head bow to his ghost of a father. Says, "You have my word on this."
The ghost begins to shrink back into the steam of the swamp, but its last action before it loses corporeality is it points west.
Towards
And
the house.
Towards the manor, yes, but it says, beyond the manor lies what you seek. And it disappears into the mist.
Vlad, still standing on top of the muck, because we have water walk on, and now it's not... no, I haven't cast it yet. Still standing in the muck. Vlad turns around to face the rest of the people. I know where the book is. And starts trudging off towards the manor.
Okay, everybody, I've definitely been in situations where there was voices in heads. Let's just follow him.
It wasn't. Oh god, you are just.
I begin
Kill it.
ritual
I mean-
casting water walk.
Am I the only one who didn't hear it then?
I didn't hear it either, but I know the type. It was actually a furry ghost.
Oh.
Dirok wouldn't have seen it. He would have seen only the swirl of mist, pillar of mist. So would Sylvia. She would have seen it, but she would have had a kind of sixth sense that there was a ghostly form in the mist. Vlad clearly saw who it was. Epotus recognizes there is undead in the mist. And Victor would have only seen swirling mist.
Vlad is lock.
He's still just stomping off towards the manor.
Don't make me hold you.
I'm following him. I'm
So-
not gonna.
I'm doing magical things to try to make us... I'm trying to make us walk on top of this muck. I don't want to trudge through it the entire time we're here.
Then how about you stop, do the damn ritual, and then tell me what the hell's going on.
Okay. 10 minutes later, we can walk on water.
So Sylvia. Meanwhile, he's doing the ritual. Sylvia's like, so Vlad is from here, and this is his original home. I'm assuming based on that conversation. And yeah, that's where pretty much things are standing. Apparently, he is a son of this land. He's got more rights here than the rest of us.
He did say that he is the rightful Burgomeister.
Because this is his
It-
village.
From Parnas.
Even I could recognize that what it is that he's talking about.
Sylvia's going to take out the sheets of paper that she had taken from that one book and shows it to Epotus.
Yeah, I give a smirk, like a condescending smirk to Apotus.
You all rise up out of the muck.
Okay, you are all walking on water now, so the muck is below you, and you begin to notice that there are snakes slithering in the water as you rise. They were apparently starting to swirl and come closer through the water, and again those terrible swarms of insects are buzzing around you.
Would I recognize that the snakes probably would have tried to attack us?
Give me a survival roll and I'll tell you how. The answer is probably yes. Give me a survival roll and I'll tell you how much you would recognize.
I'm going
Yay!
to nuke those bugs.
You not
Zap, zap.
only realize that the snakes were starting to move in on your position in greater and greater numbers, but you identify the snakes that are there as clearly very poisonous snakes.
So it's a
I
good
make
thing that we're
mention-
not trudging through the muck anymore.
Yep, I make mention to this to Vlad. You did well here. If we stayed any longer in the muck, these snakes would have swarmed us, and I do recognize some of them as highly venomous. Some of you with your armor would probably be more protected, but someone like me, and I, obviously not well armored, I kind of show that to everyone. someone like me, I'd be more exposed. So I thank you, Vlad.
Vlad nods. What is that in the tree? Is that actually there, or is that...
That is in the distance through the mist as you look slightly to your right and to the north as you're moving towards the manor. This is the twisted cypress tree.
Ah.
Okay. So Vlad comes back to the group, says, "Alright, so, quick rundown, reminder of everything we have discovered here. I am from here. Apparently my family was the Burgomeister. My father was the Burgomeister of Berez before it was destroyed. That means the title falls to me. Not much of a people to rule over, not much of a people to guide right now, not much of a town, but it is something." Any other questions? Then can we continue on and try to get this damnable book so we can leave?
Yes.
Don't want to try to redeem this place.
We can
Something
redeem this place by killing... There's a moment of hesitation by killing Strahd.
True.
I mean, once we take care of part of why it's this way, it'll be a lot easier than trying to fight going upstream a river.
I wonder if this
There's-
place is under the same effect as Witcher Hill.
You think what I'm thinking, Dark?
That there's some kind of evil plaguing the land. We were able to
There
cure the
is.
land.
There
We know that it's the devil, but I wonder
No.
if there's something else.
There is. Don't you remember what we were told at the winery? Mama what was it? Mama Badouche? Baba Lelouch?
Mama Yaga?
Mama Babadook.
Baba
Baba
Lasaga. And
Baba
just, for
Lasaga.
your,
Baba
just
Lasagna.
for your information, the word Baba in Russian means grandmother.
I knew that.
I guessed that.
Well, I figured because Baba Yaga, but yeah. Anyways,
Baba
Anyways,
Lasagna
yes.
still resides here.
Baba Sonya. Sure.
Right. There is an
She's-
evil. We need to be
she's-
careful.
She is the one who sent the plant blights on the winery and to wake up Winter Splinter. I know not where she
So-
resides, but I think she's might be in that tree. It would be a better idea to get the book first, I think.
I'm down for setting fire to
Well,
another tree.
We know that she is well, like the druids were evil and Winter Splinter was evil, but they did not corrupt the land. Maybe we could kill her, but then it will make it easier. But I don't think she's the reason this land is corrupted.
She is
It
not
could
the
be-
ultimate reason. The ultimate reason is Strahd, we know, but Baba Lasagna is a catalyst for it.
You know, you have
Thank you, Garfield.
You have no problem.
I just feel like perhaps
saying-
Strahd should just let us have some lasagna.
God, shut up. So let me get this straight.
Damn
you
it,
have
Odie.
no problem
Berez.
insulting this guy when saying his actual name. But when it comes to this hag, you're like, I can't say her name to save my life. Good job,
There's a
Vladislav.
corruption over the village
Baba
to keep you from saying her name. But I like Baba Lasagna.
Baba boy, Baba boy.
I like
just
Baba
love
Lasagna more too,
Baba
that's why I keep saying
Lasagna.
it.
That's great.
Baba Lasagna.
Damn, now I
I
want some.
can't.
Lie Saga. Dude, Jesus.
I like lasagna more.
I do too. I do too.
Hold on. But here's the thing. Lasagna is a harder word to say.
No, it's not.
Lasagna. Lysaga.
Oh, God.
There's no diphthongs in Lysaga.
Oh, but I just think Baba Lasagna is such a better name.
And her son, Pizza the Hut.
And you get and you get into the hut, you have this old grandmotherly type going, sit down, I will make you some lasagna.
Oh,
Better ingredients, better pizza.
somebody send us some artwork of Baba Lasagna, please.
Oh, God.
just in a fight with a giant piece of lasagna.
Yeah.
Summoning noodles to come
Lone
destroy us.
Star, where are you when we need you?
It's a piece of lasagna with googly eyes and a great wig. Just,
Yep.
Oh,
our audience is like they're something special.
You're welcome for that. Alright.
Yes, that one I've got to post somewhere. That's the dangerous episode with Baba Lasagna.
Well, now that's been totally derailed.
Oh yeah, don't give us any sort of funny sounding name. We will
It's
destroy
not
it.
funny sounding, you just suck at it.
Lasagna? Lasagna?
Oh,
How am I
you
the
said
only
it.
person that made that?
I
I can say her name, Lasagna. I just think the lasagna is funnier.
Cry.
Say like Baba Ganoush, so
It's like I was saying Baba Ladouche earlier. Probably is a Ladouche.
Sorry.
Back to the story.
Back to the story.
Well, we have time.
Yes.
I think that she resides in the giant tree over there, but I don't want to face her without the book.
Duroc,
Yeah.
are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Lasagna sounds really good right now.
No, Pinky. What are you thinking tonight?
Oh, that's rude.
Does that
That's
make
just
you
rude.
the
I don't call you
brain?
green bean.
No, I don't know what you're thinking,
I'm thinking we should set a tree on fire.
but why?
Give me an intelligence roll, please, Sylvia.
Okay.
Keep in mind that she may have the other winery gem, the one that they used to make.
Oh, well,
As you
this is a
look
mess.
around at your environment, you don't see a dry twig anywhere. Everything is covered in creeping mold, slime, steam, water drips off of everything.
I got dry clothes, and I've got
I
oil.
I
can
think
make this
as
fire
someone who's a outsider would probably know that as well. I could point that out to her.
Actually, I wanted to comment. Now, I know we're used to just burning everything down, but don't you think that someone living in a wood house would have thought about someone coming to try and burn it down?
We're not talking about the house, we're talking about the tree.
It's a tree.
Yeah,
hello.
but the tree is in the house is in the tree.
So?
No, the house we want to go to is outside of the tree.
The
I know, but
tree
one we
probably
want to
has its
burn
own
down
defenses.
is in the tree.
Of course it's gonna have its own defenses. It's probably magical like Winter Splinter. And I set that thing on fire too.
Speaking of which,
You
can you
didn't
send
have-
me the
You are just practically underwater in this place.
Yeah, I know it, but she's still wanting to set it on fire.
Can you send me the details for the axe that we found at the Winter Splinter thing? I don't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
if you
quick
would,
question.
if you would send it to him, because I don't. While these screens are up, I can't pull up the communication.
So, Vlad, you mentioned a name, Marie something or the other?
Let me consult my notes I took while I was talking with my father.
I'm glad you had such you had a great amount of time taking the time to write down notes while you were speaking with your father. I mean, most kids just like, yeah, whatever.
And the paper
okay, sure,
that he was
whatever.
writing on is limp and soggy. It just he tries to hold the sheet of paper,
Ah,
and
fluffy
it
paper.
just
It's very moist.
yeah.
It wilts.
Marina, she was, from what I understand about this place, there's a bit of history on Barovia. Strahd once had a brother named Sigrid.
No, Sergey.
Sergei. Had the S right.
We know that. We were there when someone was explaining it to us. That's
You
Okay,
remember about Tatiana? Yes?
I remember about that, and I also remember that Strahd is apparently looking for any woman that looks like her because he's got these weird obsessions.
Vlad starts
with
shaking
this
his head.
same woman dating.
Not look like her. Tatiana
Okay.
never truly died.
So what you're telling me is she's constantly in
her
a state
soul.
of reincarnation.
Yes.
Got it.
Vlad has been seeking Tatiana for hundreds of years.
So at some point, that soul was here. If this is what you're trying to explain to me in this wonderful storytelling that we're doing here.
She was here, and Strahd had almost gotten her. She had been
Okay.
corrupted. But during the final part of his plan,
Excuse me.
I don't know what would happen if he ever got a hold of her soul. But during the final part of his plan, the priest to Lathander that was here turned the village against her, and apparently they killed her before Strahd could get her. And for this,
Okay.
his rage was great, and he destroyed the village.
And we're seeing the end results right here, right now, with you being one of the last men standing. Okay, so we're up to speed on that.
Rictavio took me out.
What?
Whoa! So, yeah,
My
because his name is
father-
Rudolph van Richten.
My father
Sorry, that
and
was
Richten. Richten and my father were good friends.
So alright, so then we
Your
definitely need to
uncle.
find this guy.
He was your uncle on your mother's side.
Richten's my uncle. Oh. Richten,
So we're definitely gonna look for this guy
my
then.
You gotta
father.
look back at that dream that you had.
I thought that was another person that was in the room.
Okay, so what I'm hearing here is we're going to go find him at some point, so you can have a weird family reunion. And yeah, okay, so that's the thing.
Richten is my uncle.
I'm going to take out. Sorry, go on.
When Strahd sent monsters to this village to destroy it, my father and all of the villagers came out to protect the village, protect me. I don't know why. They risked everything to keep me safe.
Okay.
The notes that we found in the tower about Richten only being able to save one. I was the one that he was able to save.
Oh, I kind of put that together earlier, but okay, so that brings in a couple of interesting finer points, good sir. Like I said, you've got more claim to any of this area than we do.
I'm the direct burgomaster of a ruined city, of a ruined town.
Oh, I know. And she reaches in her bag and kind of waves out the papers. I've got information here. So, yeah. Is it just me on a strange level? But the reincarnated states of the spirit. Is it really weird that they all have very similar sounding names?
I don't think that is by chance. The power
Yeah.
is keeping Tatiana here. In any case,
As you approach the manor, you've been slowly slucking through the mire.
we
approach
can walk
that-
on top of it now.
Yeah, that's true. As you approach the manor, you begin to notice a few things. The fence that you saw from a distance is a circular pen that has several goats inside of it. There is no gate whatsoever in the fence, and the fence is probably about 6 feet high, wooden fence, but there is absolutely no gate in the fence. You also can see that what you remember as a garden that was next to the house is now overgrown with a tangle of briars and twisted weeds that grow over the little rambling wooden fence that was just like a marker around it. They grow up and over it the whole garden has just been swamped by this snarl of vines and what was left. You can see things slithering through the vines under the ground, and like the water, you can tell that it's snakes that are slowly moving towards you and keeping an eye on you. As you get close to the manor and you look at the ruins, your mind's eye begins to picture what you remember of it. You remember that the building was a 2-story building above ground, and that there was a cellar below that your father prided a very good wine cellar that he kept below the manor, although you see very little evidence of that cellar now. It's just this jumble of rotted wood, timbers, and overgrown vines, and the stones that form the lower wall of the house are just piled all over the place. You also are beginning to notice that scattered around the garden area and the hut and any place that there is a slight amount of mossy, what will serve for land in this place, in every place but where the manor is, what serves for land in this entire swamp is like a hillock of piled up moss that has just grown so thick that you can stand on it, but it will slowly squish and slowly sink as you stand on it, until eventually your feet would be in the water again if you were standing on very wet, oozing moss that has risen above the thing. And on several places where this land has formed, and on the several places of the land around the manor, you can see crossed T's of wood with scarecrows hanging on them. The scarecrows have odd appearances with odd hollow-looking eyes. But as you look around and begin, it's hard to see through the mist, and things disappear as you look off in the distance. But as far as you can see, you can tell that this whole village has places where these sticks have been placed and these scarecrows are on them. The leaves of the overgrown garden rustle as things begin to slither in it as you approach. And that is where we will end it for tonight. And again, we will take up with this story in 2 weeks, because
that's even worse.
I know.
Crone will be missing next week. So we will leave off as the ground around you begins to rustle and slither. And that's where we will take up.
Oh. Dang it.
And
I just want to go for like
again,
another
those
hour.
of you who are looking in tonight on YouTube, be sure and check us out in 2 weeks. And next week, be sure to check out the special episode of a one-shot that Kyle will be doing. A little bit of change of pace in the week that I will be missing. So I hope you will enjoy the difference that we will have from the week that I will be gone for some care that I need done, some medical care. So we will get that taken care of, and I will see you all in 2 weeks. Anybody got any last comments before we wave goodbye?
Well, oh yeah, I forgot to mention earlier, I've started selling costumes to kids, parents, and anyone who wants to just dress up for Halloween. So hopefully I'll be here on Sundays.
Oh, hey, good luck.
Very good.
Yeah,
And
just wishing you a smooth
in
recovery.
terms of costumes, we are planning on having a special costumed episode on the 28th. So be sure to watch for that episode coming up October 28th.
The 28th
For
of October, not the 28th of September.
No, 28th of October for Halloween.
It's both. We don't play on we don't play on the 28th of September, but it's both.
Both.
Yeah, you have to dress up in your costumes on the 28th, but I won't stream it.
We'll make sure we're stream approved on the 20th. Got it.
That sounds so
28th is actually a Friday.
Shh.
There is again that day.
Not ours.
it was a game that day.
Well, very good. I'm
Okay.
glad that Sylvia will have more time to join us for the game, and we will look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks as the story takes up, and we'll see where it's going to go. Have a great one, everybody. Good night.
Adios.
Bye.
Wait.
Okay.